Nurtured Frequency is Akae Beka's 5th studio album, and it's a keeper. Hello everyone, I'm st.helen from Irie Roots Reggae Reviews, and today I'm reviewing Akae Beka's latest album, Nurtured Frequency. Now, who is Akae Beka? Akae Beka is a continuation of the band Midnite. The band Midnite, a legendary roots reggae band from St. Croix. It disbanded in, I believe, 2015. It was never really clear the reason for the disbanding of such a legendary band. And this is one of my favorite roots reggae bands. It was really never clear exactly why these guys decided to call it quits. What I've seen is that, and I'll just say the quote, is due to life-changing medical emergencies, convictions, and revelations. I'm not exactly sure what this means. Now, AkaeBeka.com states that Von Benjamin, who was really the front man of Midnite, along with his brother Ron Benjamin, who was really the bassist. But Von Benjamin, AkaeBeka.com states that Von Benjamin answered the calling of a sacred oath described in the book of Enoch, one between the Most High and Michael the Archangel. So Von Benjamin, he took on the moniker Akae Beka. The website further states that Akae Beka is the current manifestation of an evolving consciousness. So Von Benjamin, as we've seen from Midnite and now as Akae Beka, is deeply rooted in the Rastafarian tradition and the teachings of Haile Selassie. His music, again as with Midnite and now Akae Beka, the music touches themes of praise to Jah, exploitation of the poor by the rich and powerful. He talks about power systems, love, spirituality, and self-actualization, right? Finding your purpose. And Von Benjamin, that we know him, he expresses the lyrics poetically, often in very dense lyrics. So a lot of his songs are hard to decipher, hard to understand if you're totally new to him. And then he includes ancient symbolism, historical context, modern day science, wordplay, and scripture. His vocal style is best described as a melancholic chanting. So he chants and his songs a bit melancholic. Now, when I heard that Midnite was disbanding in 2015, I was really concerned about what would be the future of such a great group. What would be the future of this music, these people who I consider the protectorate of roots reggae music in a sense. Midnite's last album, Beautiful Ashes and Right Through, both produced by Irie, and we'll talk about Irie in a while. These were excellent roots reggae albums. Exceptional quality of the production, the mix, and the lyrical content. I highly recommend you listen to the album Beautiful Ashes, particularly the last song, Healing. So now we come to Akae Beka. Akae Beka has released 4 other albums before Nurtured Frequency. Homage to the Land, which was produced by Fifth Son, was a good album. The lyrical style did not deviate much from Midnite albums, and that was encouraging. Homage to the Land, it was supported by roots reggae instrumentation, and it was quite experimental. There was lots of different instruments, the strings, the brass, lots of jazz, the jazz fusion and the jazz riffs. So it felt more like experimental roots reggae. I like that album. Then came Portals and Levicated. Portals was produced by Irie production. Levicated was Zionite production. And these 2 albums are simply in a league of their own in terms of exceptional quality of the production and the mix, the lyrical content of these albums. These 2 albums stand head and shoulders above any roots reggae music that has been released in this decade. Then Akae Beka released the 4th album, Jah Say Do, produced by Uhuru Boys production. And this album was okay. I was not really a big fan of this album just because it felt like it was so eclectic, mixing the roots reggae with sort of dancehall, R&B-ish type. It was just too eclectic. The lyrical content was still high quality, but I wasn't too impressed with the eclectic nature of that album. It was a bit distracting listening to this album. And I reviewed it on my previous channel, on my other channel where I mainly do guitar instrumentals. And if you want, you could check it out. I'll have a link for my review of this album down below. So who is Irie and Zion High Production? Why am I asking this question? That's because I think this is important for this review of Nurtured Frequency. Irie is spearheaded by Lauren T.P. Alfred. He's from St. Croix. Zion High Production is led by David Jamison Goldfine. I believe he's from Florida. And then Luster Kings led by Andrew Moonbane. These three production companies or production houses form what I believe is the Holy Trinity, this collaborative Holy Trinity of roots reggae producers called Zion I Kings. Zion I Kings. Zion I Kings, to me, they have the gold standard sound in modern roots reggae music. They have perfected the song by sticking to the very fundamentals of reggae music, of roots reggae music. But they also add different flavors that make the song distinct and recognizable amidst all of the noise of reggae music, whether it's commercialized or roots reggae music on a whole. You could hear a production of Zion I Kings and know that it is Zion I Kings production. They have the punchy driving bass line. They have the in the pocket drums, often syncopated drum beats, offbeat drum beats. They have really intelligent arrangements of brass. They have the guitar skanks and the really creative leads, whether clean or distorted guitar songs, all live instruments. And then they interlace these instruments, these live instrument sounds, with modern synth songs and heavy reverb. One thing that I think is really critical or really important for the sound of Zion I Kings, or any of these three individual groups or producers in Zion I Kings, is the really high quality and clarity of the final mix that these guys produced. And now you'll see why I'm talking about Zion I Kings pretty soon. I think this is important for this album. So what did I like about Nurtured Frequency, the album? Number one, Nurtured Frequency, the album, is authentic roots reggae music. It is not commercialized reggae music. This is the real roots reggae music. They've really sticking to the fundamentals of roots reggae music here. The second thing I like about Nurtured Frequency is the high quality of the production. Now, to any fan of Zion I Kings, the production and many of the songs familiar. And as I was reading, I noticed that the producer of Nurtured Frequency, Drew Keys of Haze Street Studios, he worked on Levicated on Portals, the two previous Akae Beka albums. So, and that makes sense because I heard Zion I Kings influence more clearly on the world, on some of the songs on Nurtured Frequency. Whole World Watching, you could hear Zion I Kings influence. Simply Might is Right, Lineage Ring, Nurtured Frequency, the song, Superstructures, Comforted. Now I may be wrong, but I usually trust my ears because I play music by ear. I'm a guitarist, I play by ear, and I listen a lot. I listen attentively to songs. So the production and so many of these songs, it sounds familiar and it sounds like Zion I Kings influence. The third thing I like about Nurtured Frequency is the poetry and the spirituality of the lyrics. Whole World Watching, which is the first song, talks about picking your battles, respect, reputation. Simply Might is Right, it calls for societal or individual actions to be motivated by modern might or power. Diseased, it begins by, the next song is Diseased, it begins by listing a number of global currencies, indicating that this song is likely about globalization and those hurt by globalization. It talks about the weapons of the tongue, it talks about propaganda, plagiarism, it talks about sin as necessary for their survival, and clearly the survival as survival of the powerful, which I interpreted as what's needed to sustain the powers that be. And plagiarism, that very word plagiarism in the song Diseased, it reminds me of Midnite song, Von Benjamin obviously singing Midnite in the song Cobblestone. On the album Unpolished, they are destroying the blueprint so no one can see who's the original and who's the copy. So plagiarism, which he talks about on the song Diseased. Then lineage ring, he starts with in this time things could be pleasantly eerie, things we'll never see taking place simultaneously will bleed all through the course of history, similar scene, live newsreel. This song really brings attention to all what's happening today in quick succession and points to the need for the King of Kings, the one with the lineage ring, like Akae Beka says. Obviously a reference to Rastafari. Then the next song, The Power of the Trinity, he says, just like a beacon, just like a lighthouse, showing the way to safety, the principle stays no matter who lives. And I really like this song. It's quite a mellow song. I like the guitar work in the background of this song. The next song is Holy Jah. He says, Holy Jah, praise you Jah, thank you Jah, all over for his mercies I dureth. I dureth is just a Rastafarian term for endureth, forever. And this song is really dedicated to, it's kind of a praise and worship to Jah. The Nurtured Frequency, which is named after the album. The album is named after the song, sorry. He says it was always there, you see, love found recently. Just had to notice, be on nurtured frequency. In a nurtured frequency, it's not a singularity. Multiple factors make here one key. Open our eyes, humanity, a Rastafarian term for humanity. Don't let it be a case of self-robbery. Don't let it be the decree of soul poverty, even in the cautious. Let it be soul receptivity, and as lovely as can be and as balanced as can be soul receptivity. To me, this song really speaks about self-actualization, through being attuned to Jah's frequency, what he calls soul receptivity. And I really love the groove on this song. The next one is Superstructures, and this one has a mesmerizing bass line. I need you to listen to the bass line on this track. Mesmerizing bass line, and the instrument carrying the melody is just so tasty to me. The song itself has a setting of a tribunal of divine entities, what he calls superstructures. Presiding over this tribunal is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And I like this line in this song. Forever his reign will be in the rule of the loving. Next one is To and From. He says commuters in the earth moving to and from. Some develop immunity to morbid conditions. Listen to this track. Some develop immunity to morbid conditions. The next one is Comforted. He says someone just wants to be comforted, not to be made uneasy. Comforted, doubts and fears relieved. It's just another mellow track on this album. And then the last song is Agenda Fi Sound. Agenda Fi Sound, Akae Beka chants about his commitment to proclaiming his message aloud. He says, proclaim liberty to the captive in protesting the system. Okay, so what I did not like. Number one, the vocals not really clear on some instances. And we know that a trademark of Von Benjamin, or whether in Midnite or Akae Beka, is that his lyrics is quite dense. Now that's not really a problem if you're able to give the voice clarity in the record or in the final mix. So in some songs in Nurtured Frequency, the lyrics were quite hard to decipher. I did not like the distorted voice in Disease, in the track Disease, although I know it was done for effect. However, the message could be lost because of the difficulty in understanding, particularly to the untrained ear. Now, I highlighted the excellent production in some of the songs, in fact in most of the songs. That was not consistent across the board in this album. For example, in To and From, Holy Jah and Agenda Fi Songs, they did not sound as good as the other songs on the album. For example, the bass line on Holy Jah, it sounded muffled to me. It was not as clear as some of the other songs. And then speaking of Agenda Fi Song, style-wise, stylistically, it was not really a good fit because all of the other songs felt more like roots reggae. They were melodic, and this one was not. It felt more like a dancehall beat type song, and he was really chanting over it. So it was sort of a deviation from the rest of of the album. So in terms of the Irie Roots Reggae score, originality, authenticity, for sure, as authentic as it can be, it's a 10. In terms of vocals and lyricism, I was concerned a little bit about the lack of clarity on some of the songs. I give him an 8 for this. Production and instrumentation, you could hear a clear difference in the production and some of the songs. So I give it a 7. It's like moving from high definition video to like standard. I mean, some of the songs that I thought were just not as good, it sound okay. But you're moving from this high production, high quality production of what I think is Zion I King's influence to some of the other songs which are not as well done. So it made this difference seem more stark. And then in terms of coherence of the album, I gave it an 8. Agenda Fisson, I think, took it down a notch. Accessibility, I think this advances roots reggae music, but I'm not sure that it goes beyond people who are already Akae Beka fans. I'm not sure it brings in new listeners to reggae music. So overall, the Irie Roots Reggae score is 8, which is a very good album. Now I look forward to hearing more Akae Beka albums. I'm also looking forward to hearing more production from Haze Street Studios. I think they did a really good job on this album. Now let me know what you think about the album, and let me know what you think about my review. Like, share and subscribe, and really hit the notification button so that you could get a notification anytime I submit, anytime I upload a new review. Until next time, live life Irie and listen to roots.